We're talking 70 grand loss this year. Are condos going to make that up in the next 24, 36 months? I have a hard time believing it. The weather is cold, but the statistics are even colder here. We have a 23% drop off in transactions month over month. Now that we're looking at the Brampton data that we have received for the month of November, the buyers decided it was not the right time for them to buy in the last 30 days here. We have the full report for Brampton, for the Toronto Real Estate Board here, and today we're going to cover all the numbers, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what we have in store for us in the next few months here, because as that snow is piling up outside, it means that people generally start to neglect the real estate market on the buyer side for the next couple months. So let's drop in. I'm going to pull all the data up and show you everything we are talking about on screen here. We're going to start off with the general overview here. And as you can see, last month compared to this month, we had the new listings drop off 21%. But not only that, the transaction volume dropped off with more than 100 less sales month over month, a 23% fall off from last month. And we're seeing now the median price getting around that $840,000 price mark. And if you're worried more about averages, we are at $914,000. Now, yes, November's always a little bit of a slower month than October and then September and so on and so forth. But what's really important is where we at year to date, or even where we at compared to last year's same month, because last November would have been the similar type of feeling from the buyers. It's getting cold. And if you look at that, we're actually down 15.8% on the transaction side of things. We are down 10.2% on the average price, 8.5% on the on the median, and then 8.5% on the average. And then new listings is about the same year over year. Now let's look where we're stacking up year to date with all different housing categories that we're talking about here. And we have dropped off on the average sale price side of things about 8.3% and 7% on the average, 8 on the median. And what we're looking at here, transactions, 13% less transactions have actually taken place year over year. So to me, when I see a number like that, that means that even though the prices have gotten significantly lower here, almost 10%, we're talking $100,000 on a detached home at least, and we are seeing less people excited about the real estate market. The rates have come down, prices have come down, but why haven't the buyers started to jump? I think it's because everybody thinks we are going a lot further, and I tend to agree right now. If you're just on the buying side and you are maybe going to buy a home that you're not going to spend a ton of time in, maybe it's a shorter term purchase for you, you got to really consider the timing. You can't just go and buy something and live in it for a few years and not consider if right now is the best time, or maybe you want to wait another 12 months. Something to consider. Now, of course, this is just the overall picture of Brampton. So let's hop into the actual housing types. We'll start off with the detached homes here. We got a lot of detached homes in Brampton taking some really significant hits. Last month, we saw 26% drop off in transactions. The new listings volume also was reduced. And then our prices, they dropped another 1%. We are looking at a 7.6% fall off this year on an average or median detached home. Transactions, 13% less transactions have actually taken place year over year on detached. And that's likely due to the fact that people need to sell the other types of housing to actually qualify to buy a detached home. So you might have to sell your semi or your townhome or that condo to actually transact. And if you don't, guess what? You can't actually pull the trigger on a bigger property. And then we've seen more properties hit the market this year, almost to the tune of 20%. So people are trying to sell those detached homes, whether it's in preparation for the rates that are going to be on their renewals when it comes to mortgage time in the 2026 and beginning of 2027 year. I don't know, but it is a big drop off for 1 year for people here. Semi-detached homes in Brampton, everything is taking a hit. It's just a matter of how big a hit has it actually taken right now. So semi-detached properties, we've seen a 3% month over month drop in the median price. You did see the new listings also drop off here. Transactions were about the same, which is good. So they didn't fall off on transaction side of things. But when it comes to the transaction volume on the year, still 14% less, 7.1% drop off in price. So a little bit less than the detached homes have lost value, which is, I guess, okay, but we're talking a percent difference here. And then we have seen new listings as well jump up in the semi-detached category. So maybe they're trying to sell and get out. Maybe they're trying to sell and purchase a detached home. It's an assumption that we would have to make here. Selling a semi, you might need more space, or you're just trying to get out of the market. You're likely not downsizing from a semi because it's a comfortable size home for most people. Let's see how this trickles down into those freehold homes here. So this is Brampton only, just as a reminder for anybody here. That brings us down to, over the last month, about even with last month. I mean, $7,000 is not nothing, but $773 was that median price for a freehold townhome. Transactions as well, they took a little bit of a dip here, 28%, and we did see the listings also at a lower clip hit the market. When we're looking at those year-to-date numbers, we're not quite down 100K. We're down 7% here, so it's not ideal, but it's manageable in some cases. Transaction volume is very much flat. 2.7% to me is very, very similar. I'm okay with that. And then when it comes to the new listings volume, once again, a lot of these people are trying to get into that detached market, and they're not able to maybe sell those homes, because you're going to notice here the terminations volume is also up 25%. So 1,000 listings have been terminated out of these 2,000 because they haven't been able to sell, or maybe they're changing the price, whatever that case may be. Now, I'm assuming that the condos are going to be the biggest hit in percentage wise, but let's take a look at condo townhouses first to give you the numbers here. And we'll just look at the year to date. Condo townhouses are down about 50K, 6.3%. Transactions are down 20% year over year. And then we are seeing almost flat. I mean, it's a 9.5% increase, but the number is smaller, so it's not as dramatic on the amount of new listings that have come to market. Condo townhouse is really a ticking time bomb when you're in one of these homes, because you might not have enough space. You still have a maintenance fee, and you might find yourself looking in the market sooner rather than later to get into something else. Especially if you have a growing family, you are going to want more space, more yard, maybe a driveway with a garage if you don't have that in your current condo townhouse. So something to consider there, but we're following the trend all the way down to condos, and we'll finish off Brampton here. And the condo prices year to date in Brampton have dropped 12.5%. That is a really big drop off here. Look at this. They're $537 last year, down to $470. That's $67,000 that the median condo has lost here. Transactions, we have dropped 24%, and then new listings, they're up 13%. So that's a big swing of 37% between the two. Now, I'm not shocked. I don't think you are either. If you've been watching the videos month after month after month, we are just basically going like this right now. I mean, maybe it's got a little bit of a flat line to it, but we are not looking overall positive with the market. Now, this is where we're at in terms of the sale prices compared to last year, some of the percentages, but let's actually go and look a little bit deeper. Like some of the other market updates that we've done, I'm going to show you some more of the details. So I'm going to show you some other market insights that we have here that I have available to myself that I'm able to dive in a little bit deeper to. And this is going to be called the listing turnover data. And what this is going to show us is how many of these properties are being taken off of market, how many of them are selling in the first 30 days, how many of them are selling in the 60 days. So as you can see here, this is just the overall picture of Brampton. I haven't kind of pinpointed specific property types yet, but listings still active at the end of November. You had almost 70% of the listings that are still active as of the end of November. And October's listings, 30% of those are still out there. September, 13%. August, almost 5% of those listings are still out there. You can see that there is 20% almost taken off the market in November. And the stats that are really most important to me are these ones here, how many are selling in the first week, in the second week, in the second month? These data points are very, very interesting to me. Now, in the third week and the second week, you can see the numbers do spike up here from the first week. So only 2.5%, 2.2%, the average home in Brampton is selling in that first week. The second and third week and the fourth week here, you're going to have that 5% almost and 3.3%. So the likelihood that your home is going to sell in the first week is looking less and less likely as time goes on. But let's look at the actual detached homes. And as you can see here, we still have a extremely high number in the types of listings that have hit the market here. And that does continue. So 4.94% of detached homes are selling in week number 2, 3.53 in the third and fourth week here. Very, very interesting. Now let's take a look and dive a little bit deeper into some of these detached homes. So let's see if there's a difference in the timing in selling a 4 or a 3-bedroom detached home. Okay, so let's look here. In the second week, 4-bedroom detached homes are selling 7.45%. And if we were to compare that to 3-bedroom homes, so they're selling a little bit slower. They're barely selling 3-bedroom homes in the first week at 1.75%. And then they are actually selling at a higher percentage here in October. They were much higher in that third and fourth week. So the 3-bedroom homes not selling as quick or as well as the 3-bedroom homes are not as good or as popular as so really what that tells me here is that the 4-bedroom homes more desirable if you're going detached than the 3-bedroom homes. Let's take a peek here at what the condo situation does look like here, and we will have to make sure that we have all those bedrooms selected. You got 73% of the condos still active that came on the market in November. That's a lot of them. You still have 50% of Octobers and 20% of Septembers. So if you're listing a condo right now, it's a difficult task. And look at that, nothing, zero in the first week for condos in Brampton. You had 2% in the second week, and in the third and fourth week, another 2%. Let's go and look at some of the September data here and August data. So the bigger percentages that we were seeing here were in the second month that they were being sold, and then the third and fourth week. So listing a condo right now is going to be something that you really need to consider. Time. Selling it quickly is next to impossible. As you can see, it didn't happen at all in November in week number 1. Second week, only 2%. So very, very difficult task here. Now, all the data that we look at month over month, some of it can just be a little bit more mundane than anything else. We see a lot of the same data, so we just start to get used to it. And the problem is small decreases every single month are going to add up to a big, big loss at the end of the year. Like you're seeing almost 10% price drop off year over year on the average Brampton home. So month over month, a percent here, 2% there doesn't look too bad. But in the grand scheme of things, 10% on $1 million is $100,000. We saw the condos, the average condo dropped $67,000 in the month, in the year. We're almost done the year and it's dropped $67,000. If you have a condo, you're also paying maintenance fee, maybe $300, $400, $500 a month. So there's another $6,000 gone. And then you're going to hope that there's some appreciation to balance this out over time. And if you're in the condo for a short period of time, you've lost your equity, you've lost your property tax, you've lost your maintenance fee, and then you're going to have to sell. It is going to be an extremely difficult task to buy a condo and then to move into a good position, I think, for the next couple of years. I think you buy a condo, you got to commit for a longer period of time. You got to be talking 5, 7, 10 years. In the short term, I don't see this equity getting gobbled back up. We're talking 70 grand loss this year. Are condos going to make that up in the next 24, 36 months? I have a hard time believing it because the incomes still have not gone up enough. If you have any questions about the real estate market in Brampton, you can always scan the barcode at the bottom here. We can have a one-on-one conversation about your specific situation. Remember, buying and selling in the same market, a lot of this data doesn't matter. You can capitalize on the market if you're already in it. You're losing maybe on your current home, but you're going to capitalize because what you buy is also taking a big hit from where it was a few years ago. A lot of this data that we're talking about is really, really important if you're just trying to buy your first home. Then you have to be very cautious with what you buy and think about the timeline a lot more than if you're just moving within the market, selling one home, buying the next. The numbers, they're generally the same, whether the market's really hot or really cold. It's the net number that we're worried about. Now, if you're watching a market update video like this, you likely have some more questions. And if that is on the buying side, we have a home buyer video right here for you. And if that is on the selling side, and maybe you have to do a sell and a purchase, this video right here, it is a long, full seller's guide video, over 40 minutes in length, but that's going to answer all your questions right there. And of course, if you don't want those questions answered by the video, scan the code, call me, shoot me a text message, and I'm happy to answer those in person for you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.